Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to the stream. This time it's actually up and running Rust Belt elections. Thank you for joining once again. So the plan is basically I'm gonna share my 270 to win screen, of course, and then you can just let us know which election prediction you want to do, and we'll do it in our point of view. You can comment what your thoughts are on that and everything. It's just going to be a chill stream. We can talk about some political things going on in the world. We'll rank some people's things on TikTok. It'll be chill. Nice afternoon. So let me get that up and running. There we go.
Now, the plan is probably to start with either Trump or Biden, like Trump versus Biden, or Desantis versus Biden, as the title suggests. So one of those two probably. But we could also go with another person if that's what you're feeling. And if not, then, we'll just go with one of the two default ones.
Okay, so I'm just going to get these back to nothing. So what prediction do you...
Huh? You can just click reset map.
No, but then it goes to that.
Oh.
1, 2, 3.
See, that's why I honestly prefer yapms.com. That one's better than 270 to win.
What is that?
Yapms.com. Though 270 to win, the name is better. It's way more political junky terminology. I don't even know where they came up with yap.
You might want to talk a little louder, by the way.
Sure. But yeah. Honestly,
So, Rust Belt elections, do you have any election prediction things you want to do, or the new person in the stream? I don't know who that is. YapMS is the best. I actually have never used it. I've only used 270 to win.
Yeah, YapMS really is the best. You can also change the palette of the map and the template and theme and background and stuff. They also have a Halloween one, I think, and a holiday version. It's that's unnecessary for the stuff we do, but it's still fun to look at.
Trump versus Biden, and then do others. Okay. Sounds good with me. God, I hate resetting this map. It is so annoying. 3, 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, see, that's why YapMS really is better. When you click the reset map button.
There we go. Okay. So, Trump versus Biden sounds good. Let's get Don up there, and then Mr. I Like Ice Cream. How does this look on stream? Perfect. Looking good. Great. Okay.
Now just the default,
so, California, obvious. We're going to go safe blue up here, safe blue in Washington. We'll just knock those out of the way. I'm going to go lean blue, or likely blue, sorry, New Mexico, along with Colorado. And then safe red up in Wyoming, Montana, Idaho. Utah's going to be likely red. All right.
No, put it safe red. Come on, Utah is safe red.
Okay, that was an accident. That shouldn't be that. Okay, so Nevada. I'm going to go leans blue because they tend to lean more Democratic in national elections as opposed to local and state elections. So...
Yeah, I agree with that, especially for a Biden versus Trump. If we look at the quality of candidates that Nevada's putting forward, they had a pretty, you would expect for them to vote Republican in most cases because their governor, the most recent in the midterms in 2022, was elected, and he's part of the GOP. But when you look at his policies, they're much more traditional conservative, Reagan conservative, if you will, than the Trump MAGA conservative, we saw with, for example, Carrie Lake or Herschel Walker. So because of just that, and also both their senators are Democrats, and a lot of their congressional representatives as well.
Right. I'm going to go Arizona leans red, actually, in this election. Okay, what are you doing, 270 to win? I'm going to go Arizona leans red. Some people really want them to go blue. I don't think they will. I think just given how they've been performing recently, I mean, obviously they elected a Democratic governor, but I think that was just because Carrie Lake was just so unlikable that, you could have run anything against Carrie Lake and it would have won. I mean, Katie Hobbs didn't even campaign and she won. But that doesn't really mean anything. I think that was more just a Carrie Lake problem than a actual like Republican in Arizona problem. And then I think just based off of Biden's overall approval rate, yeah, Hobbs is also like really bad. She didn't even campaign. What a loser. Okay. Anyway, on to Texas. Texas is gonna lean red. Sorry to all of you.
No. See, I'm just gonna like interject here. Arizona should be likely or like leans blue.
Really, I disagree.
Oh, because Carrie Lake is Trump, okay? If Carrie Lake didn't win, I don't think Trump can win. Like,
that's not true.
Hobbs
Carrie
is
Lake
really
had
bad.
much worse policies than Trump. Number one. Number two, Carrie Lake was also not just Trump. She was a Trump sycophant who was a woman, making her even less likely to win.
But Hobbs was also a woman. It just resets the board when they're both women. Like, Hobbs versus Carrie Lake is such a good metaphor analogy for Biden versus Trump. It's basically the same people. Hobbs is bad, Biden is bad. Like, they don't appeal to people. They just vote for them because they're like the traditional like Democrat, like establishment person. And then Trump and Carrie Lake, same policies, same like personality, same like election fraud type of tactics. Like, it's the same thing. So, and also because Biden won it in 2020, I don't think that he's going to lose it, especially like what has Trump done to earn Arizona from what we've seen.
But I think the bigger question is, has Biden secured his spot? People mainly voted Biden in 2020 simply to get Trump out of office. Now that people actually don't like what Biden is doing, which, I mean, I personally don't see why, because I don't see a lot of the issues with what Biden's doing. So, like, if you ask me for an example, I wouldn't really be able to tell you, because I'm somewhat of a Biden supporter here at this point. But, like, I think with just the stereotypical, oh, Biden is completely killing the country, and with how fluid the dynamic in Arizona is, I think they would actually lean red. But we'll leave it up to you, Rust Belt elections. What do you think? Since we both agree on a different thing.
Yeah, I'm really honestly stuck here. I mean, I get your points, but I really do think that if we look at like a Trump versus Biden mashup, like, what do you think is more likely? Like, if we Kristen Sinema recently changed to be an independent, but still, like, both their senators are also Democrats. Mostly in Congress, they're Democrats. Like, if you think of like Arizona's demographics, also, it's mostly Hispanics that appeal more to the Biden base. So, also because of that, you see, I would say.
Tilt Democrat. Okay, I'll do that.
See.
Nebraska's Omaha district is 2, correct?
Yeah, District 2.
Yeah, I never do that in like the videos because it just takes too long, but I would definitely say tilt blue. Nebraska is definitely a Democratic city. Omaha's
like
a Nebraska.
Likely or safe blue.
No, I'd still go tilt blue. Hello to the other 3 people that are on the stream now. Welcome. Make sure you like and subscribe. You know, do all that fun stuff. We will shout out the 500th subscriber. On to Minnesota. Minnesota is a blue state. I don't care what anybody says. It is. It's a likely blue. Iowa's a red state. We'll go likely red. Missouri is safe red. Arkansas safe red. Louisiana safe red. Obviously, all these southern states except for Georgia. We'll discuss that one later. Florida is going to be safe red. It is rapidly going in the...
No. That's too extreme. Likely red, if anything.
I disagree. I think they are rapidly going in a Republican direction. I mean, rapidly. Since DeSantis came into office, once like the DeSantis-Trump era started back in 2016 to 2020, like Florida has been just unstoppable with like the Republican candidates.
Just to answer the questions about the margins, safe would be 30 or I guess like 20 plus, I guess, and then likely is 15 plus, and leans is 5.
I'll meet you in the middle around likely. I personally think it'd be either likely or safe. Probably leaning towards safe, but I could work with likely there. South Carolina is a likely red state. Georgia. How do we feel about Georgia? I say it tilts blue.
I agree. Leans blue. Yeah.
Leans tilt. I mean after.
Tilt are the same thing.
No, leans different. Oh, yeah, you're right. Likely is different. I hate those like terms. It's so stupid. Okay. Anyway, yeah.
But just going off of like, I mean, the runoff election in Georgia is like a very interesting case because I think that Herschel or Raphael Warnock was a pretty strong candidate, and I was honestly surprised by the results that we saw there. I thought that he was outright going to win it by, like, not likely or safe by any means, but like a lean. Like, I thought he was going to win on election night by like 3 or 4 points, but no, we had to go to a runoff. So that I found really surprising, and I didn't think that was going to happen. But still, even though like Georgia surprised us in that sense, or at least me, I still think that it's going to be lean, and
I would agree. And even after those runoff elections, the Democratic candidate still came out on top. North Carolina is going to be a likely red state, in my opinion. Do we disagree with that? Actually, I'll go lean.
I could see it lean.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was just about
Yeah.
to say lean.
Tennessee's safe red. Kentucky's safe red. West Virginia safe red. Virginia is going to be a likely red. Likely to safe doesn't make a difference. It's a blue state. Or sorry, blue. Did I say red? Too much red down here. Illinois, safe blue. Indiana, likely red. Ohio, likely red. Michigan and Wisconsin. What do we think about Michigan and Wisconsin?
Okay, Michigan, I think it's going to be likely blue, not lean. I think that Michigan, their governor right now, what's her name, Gretchen Wiener, or
Whitmer.
like that. Gretchen Whitmer.
Yeah, I agree. Just based off of the midterms, like, it's very clear Michigan is a blue state. The 2016 election was a clear outlier. Wisconsin, I'll go tilt blue. Give me 1 second. Give me 1 sec. I'll be right back. All right, Golsa, talk to the chat real quick. I will be right back. Literally in like 30 seconds. I just got to talk to somebody real quick. So talk to the chat.
Mute yourself.
Yep,
Yes.
of course.
Okay. And then I don't know why he put Wisconsin as leans blue. I think honestly, like, Wisconsin's probably the most interesting state in my opinion right now. Like, we have Arizona, we have Nevada, we have Georgia, but Wisconsin is what's flip-flopping the most in my opinion. So obviously in the midterms we saw Ron Johnson, the Republican, beat Mandela Barnes, the Democrat, so for the Senate seat. So that's one win for the GOP. But then their governor is also a Democrat, so another win for the Dems. And then their other senator is also a Democrat, but I don't think that that's as much. Yeah, exactly. It's really confusing. The other senator of Wisconsin doesn't tell as much, like, it doesn't say as much about the state since she was elected like 4 years back, I think. So that's not as recent as like the current demographics of Wisconsin show and their like voting patterns. And then also the Supreme Court election. So the Supreme Court election, I think a lot of Democrats like misunderstand and over exacerbate the importance of it, because I think that a lot of it was just because of the funding that went into the race that the Liberal came out on top. And like, obviously for the Supreme Court race, they used Liberal and Conservative instead of Democrat and Republican because they're just like not supposed to have a party. But yeah, it was the most funded Supreme Court election in United States history, like period, out of any state since the country's founding. So obviously that she's going to win. The Liberal Janet Protege, was going to win no matter what when she has that much funding.
All right, I'm back.
If her opponent had had that much funding, then he would have won. So I don't think that tells that much about the state. So it's really confusing. But I would characterize Wisconsin as honestly a lean red state because of also the demographics of like the Rust Belt and like that area of the country. Well, not like, I guess, is Wisconsin the Rust Belt? Obviously, like
yeah, Wisconsin, Michigan, Minnesota.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't think that Biden has done much to earn the respect and votes of the Rust Belt voters.
So
I guess Rust Belt elections.
What are we going? Tilt red?
Yeah.
Tilt red? Yeah, I could agree with that. I think the industrial kind of side of it. Moving on. Alaska. We'll just knock these out real quick. Alaska's likely red. Hawaii's safe blue.
Oh, and just to respond to that, yeah. Him being indicted again today, honestly, I don't think the indictments are changing much. Like each
Agreed.
time he gets indicted, his like polling numbers go up, his funding for his campaign goes up, and obviously that's like a very vocal minority of the MAGA fan base that's like pushing him in that direction. But still, it helps him nevertheless. And I was honestly seeing like Politico. I don't know if you guys know this, but Politico.com has these like caricatures and like these cartoons that they draw like every week. They have like new ones, and one of them was the Dems like looking at the polls, being like, "Why is Trump going up again and again?" And it's like, if you want him to go down, stop indicting him. Like the indictments are doing the opposite of what they thought they would be doing. So I think like the more indictments, the better for Trump.
Right. Okay. So Pennsylvania is a tilt blue state. If they can elect John Fetterman, they can elect Joe Biden.
Yeah, I guess this time could be different, but I think that the classified document case was the most serious out of all of them. Like that was the most extreme and like really bad on his end because of all.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that part. Because I think with the classified documents, it's like in a really red district in Florida, correct? Yeah, that makes sense.
All right, and then Northeast states, we all know how this goes. Blue, 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 blue. Except which district in Maine is a red? Is that one?
The second district.
Yeah, I don't really pay attention to like those districts. I knew Nebraska was the. All right. Blue, 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 blue.
Yeah.
Okay. This is the final result of our election prediction. Obviously, Biden wins 293 to 245. So I wish I could like set up a tally here saying who has won what, but I don't got the room on the screen, so I'm not gonna do that.
And I think this honestly really well reflects like what's happened in the country since 2020. Like in 2020, what were the margins? I think it was like 306 for Biden and 232 for Trump, if I'm not mistaken. I think those are the electoral college counts. So it being like a tighter race makes sense because of the damage that Biden has done. Not so much the damage that Trump has done, because I think that despite like everything with January 6th and the indictments, he hasn't lost much support, but I think Biden has. So yeah.
Yeah.
This seems about right.
So which one should we do next? Either that, or we can respond to some TikTok people. Rust Belt elections. Do you have a new recommendation for what you'd want to see next? Let me clear this map.
Otherwise,
2024. Okay.
Senate prediction. Oh wow, yeah, that's really interesting because there are a lot of really competitive seats up. Like the one that I really have my eye on is Montana. John Tester, I think it is. He's running. He's a Democrat in Montana, and he's running for re-election. And Montana is a pretty red state, and so I don't know how safe his seat would be comparatively. But Justin, do you know which states? Because I know like most of the tight races, but overall.
Yeah, that's my thing. I don't really know like every single state that is.
We could do like the ones that are just like more major.
Right.
And for those, like, would we use the same map? I guess, yeah.
Yeah, isn't there a Senate map that can be used for this? I don't really do Senate predictions, so I don't know.
We can do the same map, I guess. Just say if it's red or blue, like, there's no, like, yeah. I guess, like, safe and likely would still apply. Yeah, that would work.
There is a different map?
What is the map? Oh, is it I think I know which one it is. I forgot the name of it though. Oh my god, it's not Yap MS and it's not 270 to win either. It's this different one. Oh god, I forgot what it's called. It's
let me.
election predictions. I mean, let's talk elections. Uses it all the time. It's like this, like black one, whatever.
Senate election interactive map, maybe.
Sure.
Let's see. No, 270 to win has one. But it's like the same exact thing, except they have tilt, lean, likely, and safe. That's where I got it from.
We can use the same one for now. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, we'll just use the same one. That's fine. Right. Okay. Great. Shall we begin? So, California, obviously going to go blue. We know that.
Are there even any Senate races that year for California?
I
Dianne Feinstein.
Yeah, Dianne Feinstein is finally going away.
Yeah. And like talking about California for a sec, we have like Adam Schiff, Katie Porter, Ro Khanna, Barbara Lee, those guys running. I mean, this is like a state, like local state thing, but who do you think's gonna win? I think like Adam Schiff pretty much has
Adam Schiff probably has a very good chance. Yeah. Katie Porter's running, right? I think she's probably the second front runner.
Yeah, but still, I think Adam Schiff beats Katie Porter easily.
Yeah. I do love Katie Porter though.
I don't know if she'll last through the term. I saw her in person at the Capitol like a few weeks ago too. Like I saw her like she was getting wheelchaired over off like the Senate subway. Yeah, she didn't look too good in person. Like, yeah.
I still just don't understand why we're electing like literal residents in default.
Geriatric people who should be in assisted living centers.
Exactly. And like the sad part is like, why? Like we could be doing so much better and we choose to keep doing it. It's just unfortunate.
I mean, there need to be like some old people in office to like represent that segment of the population, but I think like much more young people.
Right. But by old, I don't think you mean 85-year-old people. Like that's just.
Yeah, sure.
We don't need that.
And also, speaking of that, Mitch McConnell had a freeze like a couple days ago or a week ago. That was also interesting. He's had like a couple of health problems too, and like a decade ago or something, he also had a heart attack. Not a heart attack, but like a large health complication. I forgot what it was, but yeah, he doesn't seem to be looking too good either.
Exactly. They see incumbent, but they also just see two colors. They don't actually like see what the people stand for.
Though in a state like California, like it doesn't matter.
Yeah, exactly. Dianne Feinstein could be running in her grave and she'd still win. Okay, Nevada. I know Jackie Rosen is running. Who's running against her?
No, Jackie Rosen has in the back. Again, like an incumbent in Nevada, like she's probably going to win that race.
Right. We're not going to do tilt or lean or stuff. I'm just going to do like straight blue or red.
Sure. I mean, if we were to like do tilt or lean, then Nevada definitely is much, more like likely or lean, definitely not safe.
Arizona. This is where it gets really, really interesting because Kirsten Sinema.
Sam Brown, sorry. Just a sec. Talking about Sam Brown for a sec, in Nevada. He's an interesting candidate too for the GOP. But yeah, I think that still Jackie Rosen being a Democrat first of all, because I think that Democratic senators in like federal elections, like in general in Nevada, do much better for Democrats, like Senate, Congress, presidential elections. It's mostly Democrats that win Nevada. And then also, I think that Jackie Rosen being an incumbent also makes her run.
Right. Yeah. So Arizona gets very interesting because Kirsten Sinema is running, and Kirsten Sinema is not a Democrat or a Republican anymore. So
yeah, that race is honestly the most one of the most interesting to me because she has people from like both sides, like really progressives, and then really MAGA people running against her. Again, I don't know the specific. I was reading an article the other day too. I forgot the names, but yeah, I don't think Kirsten Sinema is going to win though. I think that there's like a lot of pressure from both sides. Though if like the voters aren't able to make a decision, she could come out on top for like some for her to get the plurality of votes. Though that would
Right.
forward to
I've been reading though that the Democratic runner in Arizona is actually doing better than she is. So that could get kind of complicated.
yeah.
I will come back to Arizona. I don't have a third color, so I don't really know what I'm gonna do here. But
Just keep it as brown, I guess.
yeah.
Or beige, whatever this color is.
So next up is New Mexico, where current incumbent Martin Heinrich is running. He probably will win again. Like you said,
Yeah,
incumbents in a blue state, it's going to be hard for him to lose. Colorado does not have any races. And then Utah and Wyoming are pretty safe for the Republicans.
I'm pretty sure Colorado does have a race, no?
They don't have a race.
Michael Bennett.
They don't have a race. I'm pretty sure Bennett was part of the...
Yeah. Sorry, it's Utah.
Utah, Mitt Romney's obviously going to win. Not even
Yeah.
And then Wyoming.
Well, how do we feel about Mitt Romney?
As a person or as a candidate?
Both.
Mitt Romney's policies...
Romney will lose.
Mitt Romney's policies are not something I agree with. I mean, again, I tend to lean a little more left, even though I keep it very real in these predictions. So I don't necessarily agree with his policies, but I totally love him as a person. I mean, he is a very good human being, and he does stand up for what is right for the country. So
Yeah. I think that, 2012 was really a wake-up call for him.
right.
He really thought he was going to win that race, but no.
So Montana, the one you were interested in, you can lead it since clearly you know more about it than me.
Yeah, so Jon Tester is running, and I'm very skeptical if he's going to win or not, because a Democrat winning in Montana doesn't happen too often. He kind of had this miracle election that went his way, and I don't know if that's going to happen again. Yeah. And the governor, the gubernatorial race in 2024 for Montana, the Democrat got absolutely demolished. Again, I don't remember her name, unfortunately, but the Republican easily won. And I don't think that we've seen anything from Montana to convince us that it's going in a blue direction. With Wisconsin, we had the Supreme Court race, in Kansas and Kentucky. Obviously, those are really safe red states, but at least we had the abortion ballot measure to show that there are some progressive values in those states. But in Montana, I don't think that we've seen anything to point any way other than towards red. And so Jon Tester is definitely Jon Tester is a candidate that the DNC will have to pour a lot of money into if they want to keep him in the Senate. But otherwise, I mean, will the incumbent sticker next to his name do that much for him? I'm not sure. I was looking at a lot of predictions earlier, and most of them show Jon Tester as winning Montana. I kind of disagree. I don't think that he's going to be able to hold it down, but I mean,
right.
That's
we'll leave that one. Yeah, we'll leave. Go ahead.
Put as blue, I guess.
We'll go. Yeah, that's what I was kind of. I was. It's gonna be close, but since we have to go one way or another.
Yeah.
Or Washington, blue.
Blue, easily blue. Yeah. Which senator is it in Washington who's running?
Maria Cantwell.
Oh, Cantwell.
Yeah. Minnesota, obviously, Miss Klobuchar is going to win. We know that. I think Wisconsin and Michigan are both probably going to be safe blue states. They both have Democratic incumbents who have decent acceptance rates. So, yeah. I mean, that's what I would go.
Yeah. I mean, for Wisconsin, it's who's it, Tammy Baldwin. I definitely should think that she can win that seat. And honestly, it's surprising that not safe blue,
Yeah, no, we're just doing blue or red.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're not doing.
We're not gonna go down with the specifics.
Yeah.
So it takes a lot more polling to look at, and just going off what we know about the candidates and the races, and actually the states and their voting patterns. Yeah.
Yeah.
But.
On
Michigan
to
also, yeah, definitely blue.
On to Indiana. I think their current incumbent, who's a Republican, will probably win.
Yeah. Is it Todd Young that's running, or the other one?
Mike Braun.
Mike Braun. Yeah. I mean, for a lot of these states, like, it's not surprising. Like, Indiana, yeah, like, obviously it's going to be red. What is it? Tennessee, is it Mississippi also? Missouri, Nebraska, I think it is also. Like, those states, yeah, it's going to be a Republican who wins. Oh, Braun is retiring? Oh, then that will be an interesting primary to go through.
Okay, Ohio.
Voters of Indiana.
They have a Democratic incumbent who has a pretty good acceptance rate,
Yeah.
Sherrod Brown.
Yeah,
I would
Sherrod
say
Brown.
probably going to go blue, if I had to make a guess there.
Oh, I didn't know Braun was retiring and running for governor. That's cool.
West Virginia, Joe Manchin will win blue.
Yeah. Joe Manchin had like the time of his life in 2021. I feel like it was all everyone talked about.
Yeah, him and Kirsten Sinema.
Yeah. Definitely laid low though. The best one.
Ain't no way on what? What we saying ain't no way to.
Was Virginia being blue?
Yeah, I think Joe Manchin will win. He's way up in the polling.
And he's a dino. He's not an actual Democrat. But if he does run.
Yeah.
He hasn't said otherwise.
Yeah, if they didn't say they're not running, we're just assuming they are running. And yeah, once like she said, he's not a Democrat. He's a Democrat because he has a D next to his name, not because of his policy.
Yeah.
And that's what makes him win.
What do Pennsylvania next? That's Bob Casey. Bob Casey is definitely going to win. Bob Casey has been in the Senate for a lot of terms now. And especially with what we saw with Fetterman, that's also another, like, easy blue state. I mean, at least for the Senate, right?
Mm-hmm. Actually, yeah. Rust Belt elections, right? I mean, he's not... Joe Manchin isn't that... Let me backpedal a little here. Joe Manchin isn't that ahead in his polling. The reason I personally think he... Right, but the reason I personally think he will win is because he is an accepted senator who has repeatedly run and repeatedly won. And even though he is trailing in the polling right now, a large amount of people said, a large amount of West Virginians, is that what they're called? Said they would back him even if he was a third party. Not only would they back him as a Democrat, but also if he was a third party ticket. I think he has a good chance of winning. It could go either way. But just given he's the incumbent who has repeatedly won over and over again and is accepted, yeah, I don't know. It could go either way. What do you think? You think Jim Justice will... We'll come back to it. We'll come back. Okay. We'll come back to it. Pennsylvania, most likely going to go Democratic. Did I miss Ohio? Oh, I did miss Ohio. Oh, wait, no, I didn't miss Ohio. Ohio just has a Democratic incumbent running who has a high acceptance rate. Chances are they'll win. Okay. Why do you say that? He has a better chance. Yeah. Oh, then, you clearly are not liking Manchin's chances here. I'll admit you're probably more educated on that specific ticket than I am, because I personally haven't been following like a West Virginia Senate seat or like what's going on over there. Really, with any like specific state, I've kind of just been following the whole thing in like totality. So like I can't really tell you. I've looked at some polling today. for this video, I will go with what you're saying, but I will keep Ohio blue because I do think Sherrod Brown will probably keep his seat. Okay, moving on to Pennsylvania, though. Blue. Okay, Virginia. Tim Kaine. I haven't really heard that guy's Tim Kaine's name in so long. I can't really tell you. I don't know. But just based off, hold on, let me look at some polling real quick. Let me look at some polling and then I'll get back to you. So, Tim Kaine, polling. Give me a second. Let me make sure I'm actually knowing what I'm talking about here. Voter split between Kaine. Okay, that was 2022. Let's see some 2023 stats. It is out that shows the you know, I'm gonna go blue. It's close though. It's close. Polling has a Republican up in the primaries, but I do think given just basically like same thing as you were saying, Rust Belt, that like he has I cannot hear you. He has the D and the incumbent next to his name. He's a well-known, like he has the name recognition to win. I think chances are he will probably win. Based off of polling, it'll be close. Same thing with West Virginia and Ohio. But I don't know right now. I think probably blue is the way to go. And no, I cannot hear you. You might want to rejoin the call. Okay. Anyway, let's move on. Which states haven't we done? New York. Their current Democratic incumbent will win. Easy GG. Can you stop it? There we go. New Jersey. I don't know. I don't think I've ever looked at the Senate seat in New Jersey, so I can't tell you. Do you know about New Jersey right now, Rust Belt? Because I'll take your word for it, to be totally honest. You're in this with us. That's the whole point of this video, to have the audience and the chat also giving their thoughts. So it's not just us up here. Yeah. I'll just go, nice and blue up there. Keep it chill. 1, 2, 3, 4. Boop, 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 boop. Okay, and then the independents are up in the other two states, so I'm not gonna go blue or red up there. Okay. Boo boo boo. Boo boo boo. Missouri, Tennessee, Mississippi, Indiana. Perfect. Okay, so now we're down to Florida and Texas. Hello? Are you there now?
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Tech troubles galore. Okay.
Did you have anything to say over that period?
Yes, I said many things, unfortunately, none of which were heard. I talked a lot about Tim Kaine in Virginia. When the Rust Belt election said, yes, Tim Kaine is easily winning that state. He's the incumbent. He's a Democrat. Virginia is a blue state. There's no way that anyone else wins that state. I also met him recently too, and he's cool.
Great. Thank you. All right, down to Florida and Texas. I don't think it's very competitive, actually. I don't see a big way Rick Scott is going to
Yeah, Rick Scott is definitely winning that.
Yeah.
If you look at the primary, I was looking at the Democratic primary for the Senate, it's literally just one guy running because they know that they won't win. It's Everett Stern or something, and then the other like Democrats are like Matt Boswell, Donald Warren. This is one race I've been looking at actually. There's like a lot of other Democrats running, but like no other Republicans because they know how popular Rick Scott is. He's been there for a while. He was also the governor of Florida at one point, so
Right.
I think that he definitely has the state in a chokehold. So
Okay.
he's gonna win that.
So, Texas. Ted Cruz, can you just move to Cancun? Okay, anyway. Good riddance.
Definitely wants to.
Get him out. Okay.
Or back to Canada.
So I'm pretty sure, correct me if I'm wrong, Colin Allred is running against him, correct? Rust Belt?
I'm pretty sure that's the case.
Yeah.
It's Ted Cruz, it's Texas. Those two words are synonymous with one another.
Yeah, it's Colin Allred. Anyway, like she was saying, I personally think Texas is going to go to Ted Cruz. Here's why. Number one, we've been trying to get Ted Cruz out for God knows how long. He won't leave. It's like, you know, that annoying little cricket in your ceiling at the middle of, like in the middle of the night. You just want it to go away. You want it to stop, but it just stays and never leaves. Like, that's Ted Cruz until he goes to Cancun for like a couple days. Then he leaves. That's number one. He never goes. We keep trying. He's always staying. He's the Republican incumbent in Texas. That's synonymous for each other. Republican in Texas. It's never changing. People can wish it does. It won't. That's also the case. And then number three, his approval rating is okay. So just based off those three things, Texas is going red. But yeah. Would you agree with that?
We've pretty much covered the map, have we? Oh,
yeah.
We have Arizona left. Yeah, we have Arizona left. We didn't decide on that.
We'll just leave it to Kirsten. We'll just give it to her. I don't know. I haven't looked enough into it. Kirsten's a name that people love, so.
Oh, wait, we also have like all like.
We don't have those colors.
Oh, okay.
And New Hampshire doesn't have a race.
Oh, really? Okay. And otherwise, it's pretty good.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, which one did you disagree with, Rust Belt? It was Ohio, right?
No, it was West Virginia.
Ohio. West Virginia would change it to red.
Right. I basically said, like, he clearly knows the polls better than me. I looked at him for a couple minutes just, like, to know somewhat what I'm talking about there. But, you know. Oh, it was Ohio you disagreed with. What do you disagree about, Ohio? There are a bunch of people just tuning in and out. I'm like, who are they? Hello, though. It's very good to have you here. You think Brown goes down? I don't know. What do you think?
No, I mean, I think Brown remains successful. I mean, like, he's been in there since, like, what, 2007? And Ohio's gone through, like, a lot of changes with, like, voting demographics, like, voting for different presidential candidates and Senate candidates and everything. He's been able to maintain his seat in there for, like, a decade and a half. So, yeah, I don't think he's going to lose it. Like, that anything too dramatic has happened up to this point that he would lose that seat.
Right. I could agree with that.
I mean, yeah, people are less bipartisan, but still.
So anyway, Rust Belt, do you have another prediction you want, or any of the other two people that are in here? You can go ahead and let us know. Let us know what you want to see, and we'll go ahead and do one of those predictions. We've already done Trump versus Biden. Biden did win, but if you'd like to see a different prediction, just let us know in the chat, and we will be sure to do that.
And Biden didn't win by that much. It was like 50 electoral college votes or something like that.
Only 50.
Yeah. Well, it's still tight. It's 270 to win.
Right.
As the website's called. Only won by 23 extra ones.
Timothy
Scott
Timothy Scott versus Joseph R. Biden. I think we did this
really?
on TikTok the other day, but we'll do it.
Yeah, and I think both you and I did it, and we had different predictions. So it'd be interesting to go over it again.
Right.
But Tim Scott, yeah. So right now he's like, I mean, the favorites for the 2024 primary on the Republican front are definitely, obviously, Trump and Desantis, and then the other candidates that are like, you know, contenders possible, not really, are Mike Pence, Nikki Haley, and Tim Scott, and then everyone else that's running is basically a long shot. Yeah, I mean, and honestly, I was like looking at the long shots. I'm definitely most surprised at Vivek Ramaswamy. He's like polling much higher than a lot of like the career politicians are, and that definitely comes with a lot of like media presence and everything. I don't know about that they'll pass him, because like Ramaswamy definitely not. I think that DeSantis is much more like. I think that you have to have some type of political career, like mass, public like persona, to get that far, like to be able to go in the double digits.
I agree with
like
that. You have to have the name recognition.
Yeah, because even though like Trump wasn't a career politician, he still had the name recognition. Ramaswamy doesn't really.
Yeah.
Wait, what polls? Because all the polls that I've looked at show like DeSantis in like the 20 to 30 range, and then Ramaswamy in like the 5, 6, 7 range. So
okay. Anyway.
I mean, if you're gonna look at this, I guess yeah. Then going back to Biden and Scott.
So Nevada, it's going to be tilt blue.
Ohio. Oh, that might make
sense. Arizona. Actually, we'll come back to Arizona. Let's do Utah first. Utah is safe red. Colorado is likely blue. New Mexico is likely blue. Arizona. How we feeling?
Really fast.
How we feeling about Arizona?
I think it goes to Biden.
I think it goes to Biden too.
Yeah. I mean, Scott is definitely a really interesting candidate. He's much more electable than a lot of the other Republican candidates.
Well, actually, yeah, let's talk about that for a sec. Yeah. Actually, now that you bring that up, because, hold on, one second. My apologies about that.
This race is really going to come down to, because we know that Trump has got his MAGA base, right? And he's probably going to win the nomination. He's got the MAGA base that's like 25 or like 15 to 25% of the electorate. And if you do the math, like 30 to 50% of Republicans. And if you look at the polling, like, yeah, it shows that he's like 50 plus in the polling. So I guess you could say like 50% of Republicans, but that's just like
right
what he's at now. But like the really hardcore MAGA base that's not going to leave his side no matter what is between like 30 to 50. So looking at all that, like, I don't think that Trump is appealing to independents at this point. You know, the indictments January 6th, like the big lie, all that stuff puts him over the edge with them.
Hola, hello, conservative American predictions. We got a lot of prediction people on here today. Soy Dora. Hola. ¿Cómo está?
And then, other than getting back to this, other than that, I think that Ron DeSantis also doesn't really apply to independents either. Like, he mostly focuses on culture wars, right? When you think of the name DeSantis, that's what comes to mind is like the Don't Say Gay, the stuff with Disneyland, banning of AP African American studies from Florida public schools. That's what he's known for. And so I don't think that he's going to appeal to independents either. I mean, surely he could win some things with culture wars, like with parents, on really like the, and I'm doing this in air quotes, but the indoctrination in schools. But overall, I think that Scott doesn't get to that drama. He focuses on much like more important policy than the culture wars, and I think that that's his really like unifying factor.
Right.
Something that we haven't had in American politics in a while, like since I guess Obama, you could say, is a really like unifying factor. Like Biden isn't that, Trump certainly isn't that, DeSantis I don't think either, but I think Scott really has that power to unify the country.
Yeah, but in that case, like what you're saying, we talked about how Arizona earlier is a very close state. Like it is completely a swing state. That is the definition. In fact, if we could pick any state off of the map right now, I would say Arizona is the biggest swing state on the map.
Wisconsin.
I would still say Arizona. We saw how close, again, I keep referencing back that governor race between Kari Lake and Katie Hobbs. Kari Lake still almost won, being a literal Trump sycophant. She was probably one of the most unlikable candidates to ever run in the state of Arizona, if not just run in the state of Arizona. She was so incredibly unlikable just based off of her policy, her personality, and pretty much everything about her. So if you were to run somebody like Tim Scott, who is a little bit more modest with policy, not a complete Trump sycophant, and someone who can have a personal or a likable personality, sorry, I think Tim Scott has a very decent chance at actually winning in Arizona, especially since he does still have that name recognition.
I mean, yeah, but let's look at like the demographics and the voters in Arizona. They're mostly Hispanic, mostly white. I think that they appeal much more to Biden. And obviously, like when we're looking at race, it's not a monolith at all. Like we can't just characterize it based off of that. But I think that Biden appeals more to that type of voter base, and also like older people as well. You know, people grow old, they move to either Florida or Arizona. You know, that's the thing. And I think that older voters also
Right, but older
vote
voters
more.
tend to vote more Republican, more conservative, so.
Yeah, but we're, like among the independents, which is really going to make or break basically most of these states.
Let's hear from you guys in the chat. What do you guys think? Let us know. Do you think Arizona goes to the to Tim Scott or to Joe Biden? You let us know. Since we're kind of at a stalemate here, if you guys vote Joe Biden or Tim Scott, we'll go with what you guys say, based off the fact that you guys kind of, know what you're talking about.
Action.
So, okay, Texas. Texas is going to lean or safe for Scott.
Likely, I guess, yeah. But
oh, sorry, likely is what I meant. Okay. Minnesota is going to be a likely for Joe Biden.
Just going back to Arizona for a sec, Rust Belt said Brandon wins it, so.
Brandon, okay. We'll go with Brandon then. I personally think that's going to be a really interesting race, though, if that were to occur, which it probably won't. Sadly, it'll probably just be a repeat of 2020. Okay. Wisconsin. What do we think there?
Oh, Wisconsin's like the most interesting state, and we were talking about this with the Trump-Biden race as well, but we've had a lot of conflicting election results. You know, Supreme Court goes to the Democrats, Senate goes to the Republicans, gubernatorial race goes to the Democrats, so it's like constantly flipping back and forth. And I think that that's the most interesting race, honestly. I honestly don't know. Like, we could go off the most like taken polling, which I think that Joe Biden wins the state. I don't know. I don't think it's as safe as people think it is. But I guess, yeah, Joe Biden, because I think that Trump has a better chance of winning Wisconsin, because I don't think that Scott appeals to Wisconsin voters.
Yeah, I don't think the demographic in Wisconsin would necessarily vote for Scott over Biden. I think it would be a very close race, though.
Yeah.
Okay. Michigan is going to be a tilt blue state, in my opinion. If Wisconsin goes blue, Michigan's going blue. I think, once again, based off what you saw in the midterms, it's very clear Michigan's a blue state. In fact, I would actually go likely blue in Michigan.
Yeah, I'd agree with likely, yeah.
Right. So,
Illinois, obviously.
Safe. Indiana is going to be a safe red state. Ohio is probably going to be a... We'll go safe red. I'm sorry. Doesn't make a difference, but...
I'd go likely.
Likely? Yeah, it doesn't make a difference. It's a red state.
Yeah, a lot of these states don't have much commentary to go off of because, pretty much most of their past elections, if not all of them, point to one party, so there's not much to say on that.
Florida. I think Florida's probably safe red here. I think based off the fact that he has the name recognition, he has the likability, he's well known, and he's a Republican, I think it's a safe ballot.
I would not put safe red for anyone except for Ron DeSantis in Florida, no matter who it is, either Trump or Scott or anyone. I think in the last prediction we put like even Trump as likely, so I don't think that Scott would have a better chance of winning Florida
I
than
absolutely think
Trump
Scott
would.
would have a better chance of winning Florida based off of just what we've been saying. The fact that Scott is not Trump. Trump is one of, again, up there with like Carrie Lake. You either love him or hate him. Tim Scott, he has that middle ground. He has people who like the Republican policy but don't want to vote for like a narcissist.
Personality, yeah.
Right. So I think just based off the fact that it's Florida, he already is their candidate there with Ron DeSantis. I think it's very clear that it'd be a safe red state.
Sure, I'll go with you on this one.
Georgia, interesting. Probably like or tilt blue though. What do we think?
Okay, so Georgia, I would traditionally characterize it as a Democratic state for most of these predictions, but I think because Tim Scott, him being from South Carolina, him appealing to the Southern voters, I think that he would have a much better chance. So I think honestly, and this is like I'm going back and forth right now, and I had to, but I think tilt red. Honestly.
Tilt red. Why is that?
Because I think that Scott again appeals much better to
Younger.
Georgia. Yeah.
Right.
Like Jordan voters, like he's got that base covered.
I would actually I think you have a very good point there.
Across,
I think the Democratic
across like all demographics too.
right.
Like racial, socioeconomic, just like their background as individuals. I think that Joe Biden doesn't relate to them in any way, shape, or form.
I absolutely agree with that. North Carolina is a likely red state. Same thing with South Carolina.
South Carolina, I'd put safe because again, it's their candidate.
Right. Yeah.
And also, it's a red state, anyways.
Okay. Hello to all the other people joining. Let us know what you want to do next in the comments. Sorry, the chat. I haven't done this ever.
If you guys disagree with any of the states that we have right now.
Yeah, we're totally willing to start debating with y'all. That's kind of the point of this video. We're debating with each other. We're debating with the people in the chat. That's like what we want to do. We want to make this interactive and entertaining. Virginia, safe blue.
I mean, I'd honestly go likely again
right.
because of the
demographics.
Yeah.
Pennsylvania.
Pennsylvania, I think blue. Yeah, I don't think that Tim Scott appeals to Rust Belt voters very well. I mean, again,
I agree with that.
Elections would know better than me, but yeah, that's what I think for sure.
Right. Okay, so this is our final map for Tim Scott versus Joe Biden. Joe Biden wins by approximately 35 points. What do we think? Do we agree with this? Let us know.
Joe Biden is having a really good day on our channel.
Yeah, he is.
Right. And I think this speaks to like, even though you hear like so much negativity about Biden, like I cannot think of one positive thing I've heard about Biden in the past 2 years. And even though there's like so much negativity around him, and everyone has something to complain about, that just goes to show like how negative we are as individuals, and like that it doesn't say that much about the candidate because there's always like the lesser of two evils. And really it comes down to like the polling, the people, the demographics, and also obviously the electoral college numbers, which is most important because it doesn't matter if half or like 40% of the people in California hate him because he's going to win like 54 electoral votes anyways. Yeah.
Right. Who would be the best candidates for Republicans on the Senate level? Ooh, that's an interesting question. Not a lot.
Which state though? Like
I think he just means in general. Like who has the best chance of winning.
Oh. Honestly, I mean, if we're looking at the candidates right now, honestly, like Tim Scott, I think this is the best that we're going to get out of the Republicans.
I agree.
Nikki Haley possibly, but Nikki Haley also being like somewhat unlikable, giving like Hillary Clinton vibes. I mean, like for the right, not
totally,
left, obviously. But yeah. And then who else is running? Like most of the candidates have no chance. Like Larry Elder, no one's voting for him.
Josh Hawley has a good chance in Missouri. Josh Hawley in Missouri's looking pretty good.
Yeah, but Josh Hawley is from Missouri. He's going to win.
Right, no, but he's running. That's what he's saying. Who would be the best? Oh, do you mean like actual like Senate candidates who are running right now, or like just who would That's a weird question though, because like there's a lot of people who would do great in the Senate who aren't running. Like, do you mind rephrasing that just so we could answer that a little better?
Yeah, I agree with Josh Hawley. Josh Hawley has like really upped his media presence and like notoriety in the last couple of years. I feel
Right.
like when he really became popular was with the Supreme Court hearing for Supreme Court confirmation hearing, sorry, for Ketanji Brown Jackson back in last summer, like last spring. That was when he really made it, because I think like he was the person to ask her what is a woman, or some of those like really provoking questions.
Senate candidates who aren't senators? I don't know. I mean, a lot of people would do great as senators who aren't currently senators. Like if Ron DeSantis were to run in Florida as a senator, he'd blow everybody out of the water. But like that could be the case with a lot of people.
I mean, I'm like just off the top of my head, like someone like Tucker Carlson or Ben Shapiro or Jordan Peterson, like those like media personalities, but like those obviously aren't like career politicians. I think that those people would do like really well though if they were ever to run. And I see like Tucker Carlson a lot on these like election prediction videos, like on tier lists and everything. And it's interesting to see how much people associate with him with like traditional politics, even though he's only ever been in media and he's never run for public office.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I mean, helping flip the Senate in Wisconsin. Oh, you mean like, okay, I see what you mean. Like the Democratic states who would like win if they were to run, who could help flip those swing states. I see what you mean. Okay. Um, in
I also
Michigan,
don't know.
I don't know too. I think it goes back to the fact that there's just so many people that could
Do you have
that
anyone in
don't.
mind, Roosevelt?
Yeah, I'd love to
Because
hear
like
your
I'm
thoughts
trying.
because you're clearly very educated on like the Senate in each individual state.
He's Michigan. I mean,
I don't know really who could win.
I think Nevada's a way better state, like in Ohio, for like the possibility for Republicans winning. I don't think that Michigan would be that winner. Oh, Mike Rogers. Yeah, Mike Rogers could probably really do well. Yeah, I agree with that. Mike Rogers is a good candidate.
Okay, so do we have any suggestions for what's next? We'd love to hear from you guys which two candidates you'd like to hear next, or if you just want to just talk about general politics, I'd love to do that too. What
Or
our
even
thoughts are on
news.
specific issues.
Yeah.
You know, we do that in our
What were you
videos.
saying earlier? Like reacting to like TikToks or something you said?
Oh yeah, we can find a bunch of like TikToks too, and just like say if we agree or disagree with them. But that could run by kind of quickly. I also have to get that set up. I don't have that set up right now.
If not, we could just move forward with another election prediction, like
Right.
Biden versus DeSantis or something. First thing up to mind.
Or it doesn't even have to be Biden. It could be any of these four people who won't win. Or sorry,
Yeah,
two people who won't win.
Let's do RFK Jr., please.
The irrelevance. I'd be down to do like. Yeah, no, even though like in fact it doesn't even have to be like current people running. It doesn't have to be realistic. I said that in the TikTok, like the ad for this live. Like it could be anybody. You could recommend Lincoln versus Biden, and we'd do that, but it doesn't have to be like current and right now. And I think that'd actually be more interesting if it was like past people versus current people, or past people versus past people. Because it's very clear that like Biden has a good shot at winning at this point. The only like race that would be pretty close would be like Trump versus Biden, sadly. Bernie Sanders versus Ted Cruz. That's really good, actually. Okay. I'm down. I'm down. Okay. How does that sound? Bernie versus Ted. Oh, she gone. She'll join back, though. Second place finishers. Yo, you there?
Can you hear me?
Yeah. We're gonna do Bernie Sanders versus the teddy bear.
Versus teddy bear. Okay, yeah. Sure. Never heard that before.
Right. Okay. So,
good, like matchup actually.
Callie. Hello, Blue.
Yeah, come on. The safe states are.
Right. We'll just knock out these real quick.
Honestly, it's interesting to me that Colorado is like blue. This is
Right,
like
it doesn't
really
feel like when you hear like
interesting.
Colorado, I don't think of a blue state.
Yeah.
Honestly, same thing with New Mexico.
Yeah, and like Colorado being in like that sea of red, like all the states surrounding it except for New Mexico being red. I mean, I get New Mexico because of the demographics, but Colorado, I really don't. I
Just,
mean, I get,
I think it's because it's no Colorado also has really young demographics though.
but also yeah, because of the big cities and like Denver and Boulder.
But like when I
But
think of Colorado politics, like I think of Lauren Boebert, tons of
yeah,
guns. I don't
exactly,
think of
exactly.
like
Lauren Boebert, that's a really interesting race. Just like interject here while you're putting in the safe states. In the midterms, she almost lost. Like she won by very like someone can fact check me on this, but like less than 1
yeah, it
percentage
was
points. It was
really
a
really
significant
close.
rate, and that's like shocking because she is in like a Trump 10+ district. So for her to like lose, like almost lose that race was really really shocking, and it speaks to her as a candidate and how weak she is. Yeah, not looking too good for her. And like the Democrat should not have had any chance whatsoever in that race, and it's crazy that he did. Like he almost won. So yeah, exactly, Rosella. Yeah, Colorado's gone. Yeah.
We just need to get Bobo out of office ASAP. There's a lot of Democrats we need to get out of office too, by the way. I'm not that liberal. You'd be surprised. Okay. Okay, so let's start. Nevada. How we feeling?
Nevada. It's Bernie and Ted Cruz. Oh, Nevada.
I
See,
actually would
I
go
honestly,
tilt red here.
yeah, I would also do Tillard.
Like in,
I
in
think.
go
Go
ahead.
ahead.
Oh, you go.
Okay, I think honestly, like, just fill the entire rest of the map for Ted Cruz. A socialist is not getting a majority of votes in any of these states. Come on, let's be honest. It doesn't matter. Like,
Right.
either winning, honestly, yeah.
Right. Yeah, I think Bernie's very far left. Too far left for these states to win. I think except for like Minnesota, obviously.
Yeah. And this is part of the reason why, like, Bernie, even though he's doing really well in 2020 and 2016 too, he was about to win the nomination, like both elections, but he didn't because of the DNC and establishment Democrats not wanting him to win because they knew that he was going to lose against whoever the Republican would be, which was Trump in both cases. Otherwise, like he's really popular among Democrats, just not like nationwide. Again,
Yeah.
like a really vocal minority who supported of him rather than a majority. So, yeah. Okay, let's Georgia. I might disagree with you on Georgia. Actually, no.
No, I think Bernie's just the issue with Georgia is we discussed the demographic. That I keep saying democratic. There's so many words that sound like demographics with Georgia. Is Bernie's also an old white man? So like, given he's a socialist and an old white
Yeah, no.
man, I don't think he's winning.
It's not like Ted Cruz is not an old white
No, no,
man.
no. But he's an old white man, but he's not a socialist in a swing state.
Yeah, sure.
So
And
there's
I
the
was about
difference.
to like oppose Georgia as well, but I just remembered like the gubernatorial race. It's Kemp versus Stacey Abrams, and Stacey Abrams is like similar to like the unpopularity level of Bernie Sanders. They're both really passionate about voting rights. She's basically a socialist as well, so yeah, that makes sense. Pennsylvania. Oh, see, I'm torn on Pennsylvania here and Michigan. I think that those two, you really gone too far with those two.
I disagree. Once again, I think the demographics, along with just Bernie being Bernie, it's going to be hard
No.
for Bernie to win in any swing state. And we're not comparing him to like some moderate Republican here. Ted Cruz is Ted Cruz. He's crazy. But like, you can even get like a decently far right Republican versus a socialist in a swing state. That decently far right Republican's going to win. And it could go the other way too. Like if you were to compare Joe Biden versus Lauren Boebert, or sorry, Joe Biden obviously would win that, but like like a relatively a pretty far left Democrat versus Lauren Boebert or Margaret Taylor Greene, like it'd be the other case too. Like all of the swing states would go to that far left Republican, even though they're far left. It's just because you're comparing them to somebody that's just so incredibly unpopular.
Okay, yeah, sure. You convinced me on Pennsylvania, but not Michigan. I think Michigan is still blue.
I could agree with that.
Michigan is just like too democratic to vote for Dutch groups.
Alrighty, what is our next one? I think we'll probably end it after this next one. MTG and AOC. Oh yeah, that's really good. That's really good. We'll do that one.
Oh Lord, that's
That is like a nightmare. We're all voting third party or moving.
AOC wins. Yeah, I agree with Rust Belt here. I think that they both appeal to their respective bases. I think that the question again comes to like the moderate vote.
This will really just be the swing states.
Establishment on AOC is anything but establishment. Like she's far from it. Establishment is like Nancy Pelosi and Chuck Schumer. She's with Ilhan Omar and
Right.
Sanders and like Rashida Tlaib and like that camp. That's like very, very progressive. Yeah.
270 to win really just needs to make a button that like clears the map.
MTG? Oh yeah. I mean, yeah. MTG is also she's become establishment for sure.
Which is crazy and incredibly unfortunate.
Yeah, sorry. I misunderstood.
Okay.
Yeah.
Shall we begin?
At the top of the year was crazy.
California's going to be safe. Oregon's safe. We'll just fill these out again. Utah. Actually, I'm going to skip. Yeah, Colorado's going to be pretty far blue. Okay, likely. I'll skip New Mexico. Because some of these.
In, like, the middle states. Yeah, these states I know. Yeah. They'll all have, like, 3 electoral college votes. I think Texas is, like, I mean, you skipped it, but, like.
Right, but just so we can have a decently valuable discussion here, you know. I'll fill out Minnesota, though, because that's just a duh.
Yeah, honestly, I think when you have, like, 2 very extreme candidates, it just neutralizes at some point.
I'm going to skip... Oh, yeah, obviously I'm going to skip Georgia. But Georgia will be the most interesting discussion here, or one of the most, since she does have that kind of hometown vibe. No, I'll go safe blue in Virginia. And then obviously these are all safe blue. Okay, shall we begin? Let's start with Nevada. Do we think Nevada would go with AOC or do we think it'd go with MTG?
I think, and this is skipping ahead here, but Nevada, AOC, Arizona, MTG.
I would agree with Nevada. We'll talk about Arizona. Why do we think Arizona goes to MTG?
Because, like, Nevada I almost gave to MTG, and Arizona votes to the right of Nevada, so just going off of that, I guess.
I actually think Nevada would go pretty decently. I mean, it wouldn't be in the likely or safe category, but I think it'd go pretty far for AOC. I think Nevada, just based off how they vote nationally, just in general, I don't actually remember the last time they went Republican with a national election. They do with like state and local elections, as I said much earlier in this video, but they don't really do it with national. So I think it'd be very likely that AOC would win that. Arizona, I don't know, actually, just based off how Kari Lake performed. And I don't want to even compare the two because obviously MTG is much crazier with her policy. But they're both incredibly...
No, I would say they're like pretty on the same level. I mean, only
really?
Because, like...
I would disagree with that for sure.
Okay, yeah. MTG, did you see what she recently did in one of the House committees? Like, they had a hearing. She showed about Hunter Biden. Did you hear about that?
Actually, no, I didn't.
Well, I don't want to say it on here because it does not PG, and it should not have been shown. You can Google that on your free time.
Oh
So I'm
dear
gonna
God,
text and
did
say
she
it.
show his?
I mean,
I'm not gonna Google it on my free time. Um, I don't really want to. But yeah, I also saw her call Lauren Boebert a effing female dog, which was cool.
yeah.
Yeah. I think Arizona would probably go blue. Yeah, I'd agree. Yeah, exactly. That's crazy. I can't even believe she. That's wild. Okay, New Mexico. I don't know why I actually left that one. That one's also going to be like Colorado. Boebert equals based.
No. Wait. How did you put Arizona as blue? No, Arizona is red. Like, think of the demographics of Arizona. They're much older. There's like one. I mean, I'm just hesitating because.
But didn't
like,
you say
ESPN
MTG and Carrie Lake are like a very similar candidate? Didn't we just say that?
Yeah,
But how did they vote
right
with
than Hobbs was.
how did they vote
No,
with Carrie Lake?
Listen, that was because Hobbs was much more moderate. When you have a moderate and an extreme person, it's different. Like, you expect the moderate to win. You have moderate Hobbs and then a far right extreme Carrie Lake. Obviously, Hobbs is going to win. But then when you have an extreme and an extreme, it makes much more sense for the dial to point towards the Republican extreme. When the other Republican extreme almost won against.
Yeah, you're right. Actually, now that I think about it, you're right. Because the fact that Carrie Lake actually almost won makes sense. That's true. Okay. Texas would be a likely red. Florida would be likely red. Georgia.
Yeah.
MTG is from Georgia, so she already has that hometown favor there. However,
it's a very small congressional district that also is a very, like, Trump 10 plus district that she was like, it was pretty competitive against, what was his name, something Flowers. Yeah.
Yes. The only reason I say blue is because MTG is, again, an older, middle-aged, I don't want to be mean, middle-aged white woman. AOC is a minority, younger, millennial person who could appeal to that base that's, like, in those bluer urban cities, which is, like, all of Georgia. So, we'll go ahead and say Till blue here. I could agree. South Carolina, safe red. South Carolina, likely red. North Carolina, tilt red. No, likely red. Ohio is going to be safe. Indiana's safe. What do you think about Pennsylvania?
No. Ohio likely. Come on.
What do we think about Indiana?
Indiana safe, yeah.
Indiana safe, yeah. Or sorry, not Indiana, Pennsylvania. What?
Yeah, what are you doing? Okay, Pennsylvania. I'm only really hesitating here because, like, it's obviously very Democratic, but just because of, I think that MTG would appeal much better to the voter base in Pennsylvania than would AOC. Sorry, I'm like, there are three letters. I'm like mixing them up. AOC. I don't, like, she's younger, like you said. I think that Pennsylvania has a lot of rural, older voters. And then also her being an extreme candidate. And again, kind of like similarly to the Arizona gubernatorial race, if you take the Senate race from Pennsylvania, it's John Fetterman, who's like not moderate.
Huh? You cut out. You might need to leave and rejoin again. Okay, so I think sorry, she's having technical difficulties over there. I think I know where she was going. She was saying that, the demographics are going to favor MTG. However, I actually think she has a point there, but I disagree that it goes red simply because of past precedent. Past precedent is always key in determining where states will go and, like, what they're going to do next. And again, we saw John Fetterman win in Pennsylvania against Dr. Oz, and John Fetterman was a very, very unlikable candidate. I mean, beyond unlikable. And based off of what we've seen just in past national elections, along with local and statewide elections, I think it's very, very likely that Pennsylvania would go to AOC in this case. I think even though MTG would probably resonate more with the demographics in Pennsylvania, the actual policy wise, Pennsylvania is much more likely to go to AOC, in my opinion. So we're going to go with tilt blue there. Michigan is going to be a tilt blue state. Wisconsin, tilt red. I think we can all agree on that. Let me know if you don't in the chat, but I think we should.
Are you able to hear me now?
Yes.
Okay, wonderful. I'll try to have this problem resolved for next time. This live stream does not like me, nor my computer. Pennsylvania, I disagree with you. I was listening to what you were saying while I was trying to reconnect, and I disagree. What I was going with was that we have Fetterman, who's like, I just think that when you look at the quality of candidates there, it was a pretty tight race between Fetterman and Oz, not as tight as people thought it would be, but still pretty close. And Oz is extreme, and Fetterman is less extreme than he is, and for it to go that way made more sense because you're going to choose a less or like extreme of the two candidates, but when both of them are very extreme. And I think honestly, to Pennsylvania voters, AOC is more extreme than MTG because the Overton window keeps on pointing farther and farther to the right, and AOC is just like Green New Deal and all these like really socialist policies I don't think appeal to Pennsylvania voters. So I mean, that's just me in the chat can decide this one, but I think lean red or like tilt red.
I think tilt blue, but I think it doesn't really matter. Oh, it does matter. Wait, because that determines who wins. So, okay. So if you guys are still in the chat, we're gonna end it after this one, but you guys are gonna decide who wins this entire election because Pennsylvania is the decider state. So who wins this election? Let us know in the comments.
I mean, if this was a real case scenario, either one would win, and the country is going down.
Yeah, we need to all move.
Yeah. Just Civil War Part 2.
I don't think they're here anymore, so we're gonna give it to MTG.
Want to do rock, paper, scissors?
Yeah, sure. We'll say on 3 what our thing is.
No, no. That can't be it.
Yeah, that has to be it. What else are you gonna do?
No, but that's not fair. We have to see the other person's hand because we can say it at a different time, or there can be a delay or something.
No. Just say it on 3. There's no way we can change. It'll work. 1.
Okay, rock.
Okay,
no,
rock.
paper, scissors, shoot.
Yeah. Rock.
Wait. No. Wait. Say rock, paper, scissors, shoot, and then what you choose. So it's like rock, paper, scissors, shoot, rock. Okay. Got
Okay,
it?
sure.
Rock. Wait. Okay. Rock. Say it with me.
Rock, paper, scissors, water. Why did I say water? What? Am I a schizophrenic?
Say rock, paper, scissors, shoot, and then your thing. You say shoot, and then your thing.
Okay.
5 things you say. Okay?
Rock.
Wait, and say them faster. Rock, paper, scissors. Don't hesitate. Okay.
Okay.
Rock,
paper, scissors.
Stop.
Okay, why don't we just type them in the Discord chat on 3? Why didn't we think of this?
No, it's the chat is bad. No, saying it out loud.
No. Okay, ready? We'll do it on 3.
Wait. If the live stream chat can respond to this, please.
Oh yeah, who's the new person in here? Okay.
Decide whether it goes to AOC.
Does Pennsylvania go to AOC or Marjorie Taylor Greene? You tell us in the chat. That decides who wins the election.
Someone decide because rock, paper, scissors over a live stream does not work too well. Do you want me to have my Siri flip a coin or something? That makes much more sense.
Yeah. Flip a coin.
Do you want? You didn't say heads or tails.
Heads is blue.
Heads is blue.
Yep.
Okay. What's your thing?
Heads.
I guess it goes blue.
Yay. So, it's confirmed.
So you have AOC as your president.
AOC wins this election. Thank you for tuning in, everybody. we enjoyed doing this stream. This was very interesting, trying it out for the first time. This was kind of our test run, but yeah. Thank you for joining. We do appreciate it, and we will see you guys next time.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.